session of English. In this session, we are going to begin a new chapter which is very, very important and interesting. And the chapter name is pronoun. So in this session, we are going to discuss pronoun part 1 because we will be discussing this chapter in various parts. So in this session, we'll cover first part of this chapter, that is pronoun. Now, what we are going to cover in this session today, let us see that. Well, these are the contents of today's session. In this session, we will cover the following topics. We will discuss introduction of pronoun. After that, we'll see the types of pronoun, that how many types of pronouns are there. After that, we'll discuss some of the pronouns or some of the types of pronouns. And out of those, we are going to discuss first of all personal pronoun. So personal pronoun is basically a type of pronoun or is a kind of pronoun. So that also we are going to elaborate in this session. Moreover, we'll discuss demonstrative pronoun, its concepts, its rules, and various examples which are related to demonstrative pronouns. After that, we'll discuss interrogative pronoun. Interrogative somewhere means questions. So question related pronouns or interrogative pronouns. Now we are going to elaborate all these kind of pronouns in this session, and we'll see these types of pronouns along with their examples. Okay. After that, we'll discuss one more, that is relative pronouns. So in this session, we are going to cover these types of pronouns. Okay. So first of all, let's begin with the introduction of pronoun. So first of all, we'll see that what is pronoun. We'll define pronoun over here. We'll define pronoun in this session. We'll define that what is actually the role of pronoun in our life as well as in our communication. Okay. So here you can see the definition of pronoun. A pronoun is a word that takes the place of a noun or a noun phrase, making sentence less repetitive and more concise. If you see this word repetitive, here you can see one more line which is written that it is used to avoid the repetition of noun. Now, what happens if the entire paragraph, in the entire paragraph, we will repeat the noun which is given to us again and again. For example, if I'm talking about a student named Ravi, okay, about a student named Ravi. If I say that Ravi is a good boy, Ravi is very intelligent, Ravi loves Ravi's parents, Ravi does homework, does Ravi's homework every day. Okay, so in this paragraph, you must have noticed that I have used this word Ravi again and again, which really looks or heard very messy. Okay, so just to avoid this repetition of noun and again in a sentence, we need to write pronoun. Okay, we need to replace that noun with the help of a pronoun, and that will really make the sentence or the paragraph comprehensible, more comprehensible, or you can say it will be pleasant to be heard. For example, if I say Ravi loves Ravi's parents, this sentence somewhere we are only noticing a single word, that is Ravi. But if I say Ravi loves his parents, now you will, if you listen to this sentence carefully, you will find that this sentence is more appropriate than that of the first one. So this process of writing pronouns or replacing nouns with pronouns, this creates our text more comprehensible, and you can say when we read it, we will feel the smoothness of the flow of the text. Okay, instead of constantly using nouns, we can use pronouns to refer to people, things, places, or ideas mentioned earlier in the sentence or paragraph. Now, one thing that we know well, that noun means name of anything. It means everything that surrounds us is a noun, that we have already discussed in the chapter of noun. We have already discussed that what is noun. Now, whatever noun is there, if we want to replace it, we can use pronoun. So pronoun is such a word which can be used before noun. Now this pronoun word can be distributed into two parts. One is pro and another is noun. So pro means when we keep something in place of something. Okay, so pro means in place of. Okay, in place of. And noun, we have already read that name of anything is noun. Okay. So N for name, N for noun. And pro means in place of. It means whenever we replace noun, we put a pronoun, and that will also make the sentence complete. Whatever this noun plays the role of, pronoun also play the same role as that of noun. Only the thing is that we use pronoun in place of noun. That is it. Otherwise, the functioning or the use of both the words are same. Okay. Although there are a few cases in which you can find that pronoun is more appropriate to be used, and what are those that we are going to discuss in all these sessions of pronoun. Okay, so here if you see that instead of constantly using nouns again and again, or if constantly using nouns, it means now to the use of noun again and again, we can use pronouns to refer to people. We know well that people are actually nouns. Okay, if I say people, that is also noun, and if I say the names of the people, those are also noun. If I talk about anything, that is also a noun. For example, if I say pen, obviously pen is a noun. So in place of that pen, we can use another word, that is it. So that will that it is a pronoun, and that will also make the sentence easy to write or easy to speak, easy to understand. For example, if I say I have a pen, I have a pen. The pen is very expensive. So instead of writing this, I can say I have a pen which is very expensive, or I have a pen. It is very expensive. So in this manner, I can write the sentences without repeating the same word again and again. Okay. So it is basically used. The main function of pronoun is that it is used to avoid the repetition of noun. It means by using this pronoun in place of noun, it avoids the repetition. It means we need not write noun again and again in our sentence. So this is actually the main function of pronoun. Now, let us see that what are the types of pronouns. Well, pronouns can be of different types, and believe me that this chapter is very important for any exam. You may find many type of questions which can be formed from this chapter. So here we are going to discuss some types of pronoun, and these types of pronoun are very simple. In fact, you can yourself make many questions with the help of this pronoun. Okay. So there are basically 8 types of pronoun. Okay, and believe me, from each type of question, from each type of pronoun, 5 types of question can be formed. It means if I say 8 types of pronoun, and from these 8 types of pronoun, 8 5 of 40 types of questions can be framed from this chapter. In fact, more than that. Okay. More than that. Now, what are the types of pronoun? What are the 8 types of pronouns? We'll see the names over here, that these are actually the names of the types of pronouns. So we have personal pronoun, personal, which is related to the person itself. We have demonstrative pronoun, where we demonstrate anything. Demonstrate means indicate anything. So any word which is used to indicate something, that is known as demonstrative pronoun. Well, we are going to elaborate these pronouns in this session as well as in the later sessions. There you will see the exact meaning of these words. Okay, so we have first here we are just noticing, or we are just learning the names of types of pronoun. So first we have personal pronouns, demonstrative pronouns. After that we have interrogative pronouns. Interrogative means question based. And after that, we have relative pronoun. Relative means when as you two have your relatives. So relatives is actually linking. Okay, when one person is linked to another with the help of a relative. So that word is known as relative, which relates you to something other or to someone other. Okay. Well, that is just an example. What is exactly relative pronoun that we are going to learn in this session only in the heading under the heading of relative pronouns. Okay. So later in this session. Now, the next pronoun is distributive pronoun. Distributive means when we divide something. So, the words which are used to divide the patterns, that is known as distributive pronoun. Well, we'll elaborate this in this session. After that, we have reciprocal pronoun, reflexive and emphasizing pronouns, and after that, we have indefinite pronouns. So, these are actually the 8 types of pronouns. and all these types we will be discussing in various parts of pronouns. Okay, so in this part one, as I told you in the part of content as well, that in this part we are going to discuss all these four pronouns, that is personal pronoun, demonstrative, interrogative, and relative pronouns. So we in this section we are going to discuss these four pronouns. Okay, so first of all we'll discuss personal pronouns. Okay, so first of all we are going to discuss personal pronouns in this session. Now, what are personal pronouns? As you can see, the word itself says person. So, when information about the person, when the information about the person which is related to that person only is taken or is asked or is indicated, that is known as personal pronoun. Personal pronouns are used to replace specific people or things, indicating the gender, number, and person of the noun they represent. Personal pronouns are crucial for sentence construction, subject verb agreement, and effective communication. Now, as we can see the word personal. Now, whenever we talk about noun or pronoun, we know well that in a sentence structure or in a sentence, when we write the subject and the object, we know well in the structure of the sentence, I have already told you that we have a basic structure, that is subject plus verb plus object. And in this structure, if we see this carefully, this subject is either made of a noun or pronoun. Likewise, object. Okay, it is also either made of noun or pronoun. So, a subject or an object, they can, both of them, they can be formed either with nouns or with pronouns. So, this pronoun, this is actually relating to the personal information of a person. Okay, so when we talk about person only, and obviously we are talking about person, it means we are either creating him the subject of the sentence or the object of the sentence. So when we write any word related to the subject and the object, that is known as personal pronoun. Okay, it means if I need to replace the subject or the object of a sentence, or any other word related to this, that there I will use personal pronoun only. Okay, so personal pronouns are crucial. Crucial means very important for sentence construction. So these play a vital role while we are constructing a sentence. It means this is the basic structure where we are writing subject plus helping verb plus main verb plus object. And in this sentence, obviously subject and object matter a lot, and personal pronouns do form these two structures of the sentence. Okay, subject verb agreement. Of course, if we talk about subject verb agreement, verb should always agree with the subject of the sentence. And in case of subject verb agreement, obviously if it depends on the subject, and this subject can be formed of personal pronoun or it can be formed of pronoun. So this is very important. That this subject verb agreement or this verb should agree with the subject, and this subject is ultimately made of pronoun. And effective communication. So just for effective communication, we should use the pronouns correctly. Otherwise, if we are hesitating or if we are not using the correct pronouns in a sentence, that will make the sentence messy or will break the flow of communication, also will spoil the communication. Okay, for example, if I am speaking smoothly and if I want to talk something about, if I want to speak something about a girl, I will use the pronouns related to that girl only. For example, I can use she, I can use her, I can use hers. So I should keep this in mind that while I'm using any word for she or for any girl, I can only use the pronouns which are related to feminine gender. I cannot use any pronoun over there which is related to some other gender. Okay, so these are personal pronouns, and in this personal pronoun we have various factors that makes the sentence of personal pronoun. Okay, sorry, various factors that make the sentences of personal pronouns. Now let us move forward. First of all, we'll discuss types of personal pronouns. Now, personal pronoun is also classified further into many types. First of all, we have subject pronouns. Now, in a sentence, as I told you, that the sentence is made of subject plus verb plus object. So this subject can be either made of noun or pronoun. Noun we know well, but if we talk about pronoun, so this pronoun also creates the subject of the sentence. Okay, so whenever we write any pronoun in the place of subject, or if we want to make the subject with the help of a pronoun, or if we want to make the subject, if we want to write the subject with this pronoun, so there we need subject pronouns or the personal pronouns of subject. Now this is also given another name, and that is nominative case. It means whenever we want to write pronoun in the subject place, it should be written in nominative case only. And what is nominative case? This I have already discussed with you all in the chapter of noun. Okay, so nominative case should be always used when the pronouns are to be written on the subject place or in a sentence. Subject pronouns are used as the subject of a sentence. So this is very, very important, that subject pronouns are actually when we replace the subject or the noun, the subject which contains noun, when we want to replace it, we use personal pronoun. Okay, we use subject pronoun or the nominative case in this place. They represent the doer of the action in a sentence. Now we know very well that what is subject. Subject is someone who does the action. It means doer of the action is known as subject. Also, whom we are talking about is known as subject. So subject can be defined as the person whom we are talking about, or the person who is the doer of the action. So these two sentences can be used for the word subject. Okay, so whenever we use any pronoun in place of the subject, it should be written in nominative case only or in the subject pronoun only. Okay, additionally you can say that subject pronouns are actually the nominative cases. Okay, they are written in nominative case always. For example, I, you, he, she, it, they. For example, if I say that Ravi is sleeping, so Ravi is a noun, okay, and Ravi is the subject. I can also say that he is sleeping. So in place of Ravi, that is the subject or noun, I have used I have used he, and he is actually the subject or representing Ravi, that is the subject of the sentence. So this he again is the nominative or the subject case of a sentence. Now let us see some examples. I like coffee. So I is the subject, like is verb, and what do I like? Coffee. Coffee is a noun object. So this is noun plus object, and I is subject plus pronoun. Okay, so this S and P represents subject and pronoun, and this N and O means noun and object. Another sentence, she is a talented singer. Now, if you look at the sentence carefully, of course, this she is a pronoun as well as subject. And if we talk about singer, this is actually the subject complement or the noun. Okay, the common noun or the subject complement. This SC is actually the subject complement. Here, this word singer is not an object. In fact, it is known as the subject complement. Okay, when we talk about the profession of a person, of a noun, that is actually known as the subject complement. Okay, now let us move to the next one. Another type of personal pronoun is object pronouns. Now this is very, very simple. Whenever we write any pronoun in the place of the object, it is known as object pronoun, or you can say that is always written in objective case. Okay, object pronouns are used as the object of a verb or a preposition. They represent the receiver of the action. Of course, what is object? Object is someone who receives the action, or the receiver of the action is known as object. Moreover, we define object like a word which replies to the question what or whom. If any word that replies to the question what or whom, it is known as object. Okay, so they represent the receiver, that receiver of the action. It means someone who receives the action which is going on in a sentence, or the object of the proposition. They are always written in objective case, and this object, this should be written in objective case only if we are using pronouns on the object place. Okay, it means if I want to write the write the pronoun on the object place, it should be in objective case only. Okay. For examples, me, you, him, her, it, us, them. These are actually the objective case, or you can say the objects. Okay, or the pronouns on the object place. For example, John gave me a book. Okay, so here John gave me. Okay, so this me is an object. This is an indirect object. We know well that we have two types of object. One is direct object and another is indirect object. Okay, so John gave me. Me is an object over here. This me is actually the objective case of I. I is the nominative case for which the objective case is me. Okay. After that, can you pass the salt to her? Again, to her. Her is an objective case or the object of the sentence. Also, the salt also is an object over here. The book is also an object over here. But these are actually the direct objects, whereas this me and this her is an indirect object over here. But it does not matter at all whether we are talking about the direct object or indirect object. If a pronoun has to be written on the object place, whether any, that should be an objective case only. For example, if I say my parents love me. Now, in this case, you can see this very well that here we are talking about my parents, which are subjects. After that, love is verb, and me is an object, and now this is the direct object in the sentence. Okay, so it does not mean that we will have all the time two objects in a sentence. We can only have one object in the sentence, and that should be written in objective case only if we are using pronoun of the objective place. Okay, I hope you have understood this concept. Now, let us discuss possessive pronouns. That what are possessive pronouns? Now, personal pronoun can also be classified on the basis of possessive pronoun. Possessive pronouns show ownership or possession of something and replace possessive adjectives plus noun. Now, this is a very important part. Possessive adjective plus noun. This entire phrase can be replaced with the help of possessive pronoun. How? Let me tell you. If I say, this is my car. This is my car. Now, in this sentence, we can see that this car is a noun, and we know very well that a noun can be qualified by an adjective only, or it can be, you can say it can be modified or indicated by an adjective only. And we know very well the structure of the sentence that this adjective comes just before noun. Okay, so in this case, we can see that this my is an adjective, whereas this car is a noun, because only adjective can qualify a noun. Okay, and here we are saying that this car, the possession of this car is my. It means this car belongs to me. Okay, now we can also write the same sentence in this manner. That is, let us see this sentence again. That this car is mine. Now, if you see this sentence very carefully, this car is mine. So, in this sentence, in the above sentence, if you compare this sentence to the above one, here it is written my car. And my car is adjective plus noun. Okay, so this is the combination of adjective plus noun. And we have replaced this structure, that is adjective plus noun, by just mine. And mine is a pronoun, possessive pronoun. Okay, mine is a possessive pronoun. So possessive pronouns are actually the words which can replace this combination, that is adjective plus noun. Okay, possessive adjective plus noun. Okay, I cannot say mine car. That will be incorrect, because mine itself represents that the ownership of this car is to me. It means I belong this car. Sorry, this car belongs to me. Okay, this car belongs to me. So here, if you see, what are the possessive pronouns? Mine, yours, his, hers, its, ours, theirs. So these are actually possessive pronouns. Okay, the blue car is mine. The house on the corner is theirs. Okay, it means the house on the corner belongs to them. Okay, so this mine and theirs, these are possessive pronouns. Now how do we make these possessive case, adjective case, objective case or the nominative case? Now let me tell you this table with the help of a table. We have three types. One is nominative case. Another is nominative case is also known as subjective case or the subject pronoun. Okay, nominative case. Another part we have objective case, and after this we have possessive case. Okay, after this we have possessive case. Well, this possessive case we can further divide into two parts. So this is objective case, and after that we have possessive case, which can be further divided into two parts. One is uh, adjective and another is pronoun. Okay, so we can have possessive case in two parts. Now, if I write nominative case, I, you, he, she, it, I, you, he, she, it, they, or we. These are actually nominative cases. The objective case for I is me, whereas possessive adjective is my and pronoun is mine. Okay, pronoun is mine. Next one, you. For you, objective case should be you, whereas adjective is your. For example, I can say your house, your pen, and another is when possessive pronoun is talked about, it is yours. Okay, for example, this is yours. For he, we have objective case as him, and for both the possessive case, it should be one only, that is his, and it is used in both the manner. For she, we have objective case her, and her as an adjective, and hers is the pronoun. Okay. For it, we have objective case it, and we have possessive adjective, that is its. Not pronoun. Actually, in pronoun case, this possessive case is not used or rarely used. For they, them is the objective case, whereas there is the possessive adjective, and theirs is the possessive pronoun. Now, this is already written in the text form also. For we have us is the objective case, and our is the adjective, and ours is the pronoun. Okay, or the possessive pronouns. So the pronunciation of this word is our, not our. Okay, so first of all, you should be very careful about the pronunciation of these words. Okay, so this is actually the table which I have made for you, which you can write or note it down that this is nominative case, then objective case, and then possessive case. Okay, now let us get back to the slides. Subject verb agreement. Now, what is another rule for subject verb for the pronouns? Ensure that the subject pronoun agrees with the verb in number, singular or plural. It means verb should be used according to the subject of the sentence. If the subject is singular, we should use singular verb. If the subject is plural, we should use plural verb. And it all depends according to the pronouns as well and the nouns. Okay. For example, if she is written in the sentence, so she is the correct sentence, that she is good. But if I say they, so they should be followed by are. For example, they are good. She likes to read, so singular subject, she is singular subject. I have used the word likes, which is singular verb, because whenever we add s to a verb, it converts it into singular verb. They like to read. Now, they is a plural noun, and after that I have written like, which is actually the plural verb, and we have used this according to the subject. Okay, now let us move to the next one. Now, gender case. We should take care of gender specific personal pronouns such as he for masculine. It means whenever we talk about any male member, we can use he for him. She for any feminine member. For example, if I'm talking about any female, I would use she, or the objective case of she and the possessive case of she. And it for the neuter gender. Okay, for neuter gender, I would use e. For example, if I'm talking about a pen, I would rather use it to represent that pen. Okay, or if I want to use its objective case, obviously it will be it, and to show the possessive, to use the possessive indication, I will use its. Okay, so that should be only this gender case should be written according to the personal pronouns or the gender of the person. In case of common gender, now we have already learned gender's concept in noun. And I told you that there common gender as well. Common gender means when it is either of the two, but we cannot conclude which we are talking about exactly. In that case, when we are not confirmed about the gender, which can be used for both the people, either male or female, in that case, we should use we call them common genders, and preference should be given to the masculine gender. Now this one is very very important. There the preference should be given to the masculine. Now let's have some examples. Every musician, now we know well, for male musicians as well as female musicians, we use the same word musician. Musician cannot be have cannot have some other name which can be classified that this is feminine or this is masculine. Musician is only one. Whether we are talking about the male musician or the female musician, we only use one word, that is musician. We also use such words like singer, politician, or if I talk about you can say spokesperson, so the monarch. So these are some cases where we know well that we have either of the two, either male or female, but we are not confirmed what we are talking about. So in that case, we call them the common genders, and in that case, the preference should be given to the masculine gender only. So here I have said every musician has made his contribution in making this word melodious. So here you can see that I have written his contribution. Okay, so his is used for musician. Now we know well that musician can be any, either male or female, but we have used only the word his for all the musicians. Why so? Just because we need only one possessive case, and the preference, if we do not know whom we are talking about, we should give the preference to the masculine gender only. Okay, for example, if I say every student has submitted has submitted her fees. Now, is the sentence correct? What do you think? Is the sentence correct? No, not at all. The sentence is incorrect. And how to rectify this? Of course, this her should be replaced with his. Now the sentence will be correct. That is, every student has submitted his fees. Okay, because whenever we talk about any common gender where we do not know, where we cannot support only one gender, where we cannot call only one gender, there the preference should be given to the masculine. Okay, now let us move to the next one. Possessive pronouns versus possessive adjectives. Now, I have told you that there can be two types of possessive cases. One is possessive pronoun, another is possessive adjective. Now, what is actually the difference between possessive pronoun and possessive adjective? Let us discuss that now. Distinguish between possessive pronouns. First of all, we'll distinguish between possessive pronouns. Mine, yours, his, hers, its, ours, theirs. So these are actually possessive pronouns. Possessive adjectives are my, your, his, her, it, out, there when using them in sentences. Now, whenever we write any possessive adjective, it is always followed by a noun. But if I use pronoun, a possessive pronoun, we do not use noun after it. Okay. In fact, this possessive pronoun is the substitute of this possessive adjective plus noun. Okay. For example, this is my book. So here my is an adjective after which we have written noun as well. But if I say this book is mine, here we did not write any noun after the word mine, and mine shows the position of this, that this book belongs to me. Okay. So in this case, if you distinguish both the sentences, possessive adjective is very simple and we can write it easily. Okay. Now, is this much clear to you all? That's really great. Now we'll move to the next slide. Agreement with antecedent. So this is another rule of personal pronouns. Ensure that the personal pronoun agrees with its antecedent. Antecedent means that has come in the sentence earlier in gender and number. John said he would come. Now this is the pronoun. This should depend on the subject which has been told about him previously. Okay. So John said he would come. So he is used according to John. If I had written John said she would come, obviously the sentence would have been wrong. Mary said she would come. So in this sentence, Mary said she would come. So this would is a modal, and I use she for Mary. Okay, Mary said she would come. It means this Mary and she, they both are same persons, and we are talking about that person only. Okay, so here antecedent is Mary and the gender is feminine. Okay. Now let us move to the next one. The fifth one is cause. Use the appropriate personal pronoun case, subject, object, or possessive based on its function in the sentence. Example, she invited him to the party. This is object pronoun. And if I say he is happy with his new car, so this his is possessive pronoun, whereas him is object pronoun. Okay. Now let us move to the next one. Now this is actually the table which you can see under the heading of personal pronoun. Now this table is very important that we are going to elaborate now. Now we see this table of personal pronouns. Now here we have singular, that is first person, plural again first person, second person, singular third person, and plural third person. In pronoun we have three types of persons. Okay. That is first person, second person, and third person. Moreover, we have singular first person pronouns. Okay, we have plural persons of pronouns. Also, we have singular second person, singular third person, and plural first person, plural second person, plural third person. So we can have two structures. Now, suppose there we talk about the first person pronouns. So I is the first person pronoun in singular case, whereas we is first person pronoun in plural case. You can be used in both singular and plural. And after that we have he, she, or it, and plural of it can be they. Okay, he, she, it for singular and they for plural. So we have three kind of persons: first person, second person, and third person. Okay. Now, if we talk about I, this is the first person, we is the second person, you is the we is also the first person, you is the second person, and he, she, it are the third person, and they, and if there is any name, that will also be considered third person. Now, if you see subject, I is this is singular first person pronoun. So I is singular first person pronoun whose object is me, and possessive case is my and mine. Then plural first person, we, then its object is us, our possessive adjective, and ours is possessive pronoun. For second person, that is you is the second object, yours is the adjective, and yours is the possessive pronoun. Singular third person, he, she, it, their objects are him, her, him, it. Then their possessive adjectives are her, his, its, and then possessive pronouns are hers and his, whereas for it we do not have any possessive pronoun. Plural third person, they, subject, them, object, their possessive adjective, and theirs is possessive pronoun. Now this table we have already discussed earlier as well. Now one more thing, this I will clear to you in case of while we will be discussing questions, but let me elaborate this here as well. If we talk about this first, second, and third person, here the position of these three persons matters a lot. For example, if we talk about using these three persons all together in a sentence, we need to check the sense of the sentence. It means the sense which is given in the sentence. If you see the working of the sentence, and if the sense of the sentence is positive, or the sentence, the work which has been done in the sentence, the work which has been done in the sentence, or the sense of it can be negative. If it is positive, we follow the rule 2, 3, 1. That is, first of all, we have the second person, then third person, and then the first person. Whereas if the sense of the sentence is negative, or the task we have done is negative, in that case, we follow the rule of 1, 2, 3. It means, first of all, we'll write first person, then second person, and then third person. Now, we'll discuss demonstrative pronouns. Demonstrative pronouns, it means those pronouns which indicate something. Demonstrative pronouns are used to point to or point to the position of a specific people, places, things, or ideas. They indicate the relative distance of noun they refer to from the speaker or the listener. Okay, so this is demonstrative pronoun which indicates something. So we can have several types of demonstrative pronouns. As you can see, there are four: this, that, these, those. This is used for something which is singular and near to us. That is used for singular but which is beyond us or which is far away from us. Okay, that is used for something which is singular and far away from us. These is used in case when we are talking about some plural nouns which are near to us, and those are used to refer to those things which are plural and far away from us. So that is known as in that manner we use these demonstrative pronouns in a sentence. Now, this is used to refer to a singular noun that is close to the speaker. So, if someone is close to the speaker, he can use this to represent that or this to refer that. For example, this book is interesting. So, it means this book is with us. So, we are saying this book is interesting. These is used to refer to plural nouns that are close to the speaker. These pens are near. Okay, so we are talking about pens which are near to us. So we are referring them that these pens are near. And if we have written these pens, that is correct because pens should be plural over here. Only then we can use the word these. Otherwise, we cannot use it. Okay. Now, demonstrative pronouns, again, that and those. So we have already learned these and this and these. Now we'll discuss that and those. So both of them are in the same category. Whereas that is used for singular and those is used for plural. That is used to refer to a singular noun that is far from the speaker but close to the listener. The car is expensive. The car means the car is far away from us, but we are indicating it that car is very expensive. Okay. Those is used to refer to plural nouns that are far from the speaker but close to the listener. For example, those houses are beautiful. So this is actually the example of demonstrative pronouns. Okay. Now let us move to the next slide. Demonstrative pronoun versus demonstrative adjectives. Demonstrative pronouns stand alone and replace the noun, while demonstrative adjectives modify the noun. Demonstrative pronouns stand alone and replace the noun, while demonstrative adjectives modify the noun. Okay. For example, if I say this book is interesting, so here you can say if book is written and this is before that, so this is a demonstrative adjective because it is used just before the noun, and the word which we use just before the noun, that is an adjective which qualifies it or modifies it. But if I say this interesting book is mine, in this sentence you can say that just after this we do not have any noun, so we have replaced this book from here and we have replaced this book from the word this only. So this is the demonstrative adjective, demonstrative pronoun, because just after it or immediately after it we do not have any noun. Okay. Now this is somewhere typing error. This is actually demonstrative adjective, which is the up one. Okay, and the downward is demonstrative pronoun. Okay, so this is actually the typing error, which you can see over here. Okay. Now let us move to the next one. This and that for singular nouns. Use this for singular nouns close to the speaker, and that for singular nouns far from the speaker but close to the listener. Okay. These and those for plural nouns. Use these for plural nouns close to the speaker, and those for the plural nouns far from the speaker but close to the listener. It is not like close to the listener, but they should be far away from us. Okay, whosoever is speaking of that. Okay. Now we'll discuss interrogative pronouns. Interrogative pronouns are used to ask questions and seek information about a specific people, things, or ideas. So interrogative means questions, and if any pronoun is used to make the questions, that is known as interrogative pronoun. These pronouns are used when the speaker does not know or is unsure about their identity of the noun they refer to. Okay. Now these pronouns are used when the speaker does not know or is unsure about the identity of the noun. It means whom, for whichever he's asking about, or for whomsoever he's asking about. If he does not know about that, we can use interrogative pronoun. Okay. Now, there are 5 main interrogative pronouns in English: who, whom, whose, which, what. So these are actually the interrogative pronouns. Now, who and whom. First of all, we'll discuss who and whom. Who is used as a subject pronoun when the noun being asked about is the subject of the sentence. Okay, for example, who is coming to the party? So we are asking about the subject who is coming to the party. So this who is an interrogative pronoun because it has initiated the sentence. Also, if this who is representing or is making a question or is forming a question and want to ask about the person, it means who is coming to the party, or from this question the speaker or the writer of this question wants to ask about the person who is coming to the party. Okay. Now, whom is used as an object pronoun when the noun being asked about is the object or the verb of preposition. Whom did you invite to the party? So you can also see these two questions, and if you want to discuss whether to write who or whom in the interrogative part, you can also look for this, that whom you are asking about, whether subject or the object. It means if I say who is coming to the party, this is a question, and if I want to reply this question that I am coming to the party, so this I means I is the subject. Okay. Whom did you invite to the party? I invited him. So here the reply to this question is given by him. Okay, so this is an object. So because of this object, I will write whom, not who. If I write the sentence, who did you invite to the party? The sentence will be incorrect because I'm asking about the object over here, not the subject. Now, whose is also an interrogative pronoun. Whose is used to ask about possession or ownership of something. For example, whose book is this? Moreover, or you can say, although this word is also used as a, in fact, it is more used as an interrogative adjective. Okay, not pronoun. So this is used as interrogative adjective. Okay, just because after this word we have just used a noun immediately after this word. Now, which can also be an interrogative pronoun, which is used to ask about choices or alternatives from a specific group. If we are talking about non-human things or humans but making choice, if we are making the questions about the non-living things, we will use which, not who. For example, which color do you prefer, or which is your favorite color? Okay, so I'm talking about color over here, so I can say which is your favorite color. Now this which is an interrogative pronoun over here. Okay, which is asking about the choice of your color. Okay, so this will be the sentence, which is your favorite color. Okay, so this will make the question. However, if you see which color, this will be an interrogative adjective. Why so? Because just after this we have used a noun. It means after interrogative word, if we have used, you can say the question word. Okay, if there is a question word, and immediately after it, if we have a noun, so this is interrogative adjective. Okay, interrogative adjective. But if just after question word we do not have a noun, and we are replacing these two with this question word, this is interrogative pronoun. Okay, so this is actually the process of identifying whether it is an interrogative adjective or interrogative pronoun. Okay, now what is also an interrogative pronoun? What is used to ask about things, ideas, or activities? What is your favorite movie? What is your name? So this what is also an interrogative pronoun, which is used to ask questions. Now, subject verb agreement. Pay attention to the subject verb agreement when using interrogative pronouns in questions. What is your name? So here we are talking about singular persons. We are using the word is. Okay. Which books are yours? So which books? Now this which is actually interrogative adjective over here. Okay. Now, choice and alternatives, which when asking about choices or options with a specific group. which dress do you like? So this which also makes the choice, and in case of choice we can use which, not who. Okay, for example, which is your favorite teacher? So we cannot say who is your favorite teacher, we should say which is your favorite teacher, because among the teachers we are making the choice. Okay, now, possessive with whose is used to ask about position. It replaces possessive adjective plus noun. For example, whose car is parked outside, or whose. But moreover, uh, you can say more precisely. You can say that it is possessive adjective. Okay, so it does not replace. You can say if it replaces, there can be another sentence that can be formed from this part. Okay, it cannot replace. So you cannot say this line vice. Although if it replaces, it will make the uh, possessive pronoun, but there whose should not be followed immediately by a noun. Okay, otherwise it will be an adjective. Now, who versus whom. Who is used as the subject pronoun while whom is used as an object pronoun. Determine the function of the noun in the question to use the correct pronoun. Okay. Who wrote the letter? So who, it means if I say who wrote the letter, I can say he wrote the letter, she wrote the letter. So he and she are the subjects. It means whatever the question is given to you, just analyze an answer for that, or just make an answer for that, though it can be any, only by any answer that you can make out of that question, and see that which is actually replacing this word who. If it is replaced by a subject, then your answer will then this who is correct. But if it is replaced by the object, that means you need to write whom, not who. To whom did you give the letter, or whom did you give this letter to? Okay, whom did you give the letter to? So we can write this sentence in this manner as well. Now if I say whom did you give the letter to, if I say I gave the letter to my friend, so this to my friend or my friend is an object in the sentence, therefore I need to write whom, not who. Let me tell you this by with an example. If I say whom, now let me have this. Here we have a blank. Okay, here we need to write who or whom, and I say uh, gave you this pen, or this pen. Okay, this is the sentence. And another is a blank. Did you speak uh, with? Okay, now these are the two questions. Now you have to write one word in these blanks, either who or whom. Okay, now what will you write in this sentence? Gave you this pen. Suppose I say that he gave me this pen. He gave me this pen. Now, of course, if I see this sentence carefully, I will find that he gave me this pen and he is the subject. Now, the word which I require to fill over here, other part of the sentence are same as this sentence, but this word is to be replaced. Now, he is the subject, therefore I will write who over here. Now, if you want to write the answer of this question, that did you speak with? I spoke with. I spoke with my I spoke with him. Suppose I spoke with him. Okay. Now, did you speak with? It means the reply to this question is him, that I spoke to him. So this is an object which is actually the answer of this question. Therefore, I will write over here. So the word which is replying to the question of this structure is actually the word which makes the base for using this who or whom. If the object is replying to the question of this question, you will write whom in the beginning of the sentence, and if the subject is replying to the question of this structure, you will write who in the beginning of the question. Okay. Now we'll discuss relative pronouns. Relative pronouns are very, very important, and we need to learn a lot about the relative pronouns. Okay, relative pronouns are used to introduce relative clauses which provide additional information about a noun or noun phrase mentioned earlier in the sentence. It means if I say uh, the person was running behind behind the thief is a police officer. Is a police officer. Now here, if we see the sentence carefully, we have used the word the person, okay, who was running behind the thief. So was running behind the thief is another part of the sentence, and the person is the subject of the sentence. Now this who is actually representing here, this who is relating these two clauses where this is done, this work is done by this person. So when uh, the additional information which is given in the sentence, if it is related to the noun or the noun phrase given in that sentence, this word which is linking the two is known as relative pronoun. Now you can see this is the additional information about the person. So this is noun or noun phrase. Okay, and this is related to this with the help of who. So this is known as relative pronoun. Okay, and how many types of relative pronouns are there? There are 5 main types of relative pronouns: who, whom, whose, which, that. Who is basically used for living beings, whereas which is used in case of non-living beings. However, if we talk about which, it can also be used with the living beings, but in case of choice only. Okay, in case of choice making, we can use which. How is it used? We'll discuss it in this in detail. Okay, that uh, that has its special structure. Whose shows the possession and whom shows the objective case. So this is objective case of who. Okay, this is objective case of who is the nominative case, whereas whom is the objective case. And this is very very important to differentiate who and whom. The difference between who and whom matters a lot in these type of questions. Whose shows the possession. Who is used to refer to people, and it acts as the subject of the relative clause. The man who lives next door is a doctor. So the woman, now woman is a living being, so we are using who over here. Whom is also used to refer to people, but it acts as the object of the verb or preposition in a relative clause. The woman whom you met is a doctor. So whom you met is the subject. You met. So this you is the subject, and whom did you meet? You met the woman. So women is giving the reply to the object. Therefore, this is the object. Therefore, we have used whom. Now, if in a sentence, if we are making if we are writing object before the subject, okay, that there the relative pronoun to be used is whom. This is actually the difference between who and whom. However, I will describe this difference between who and between the use of who and whom in a sentence. I will elaborate it in detail later in this late in the later sessions. Okay, so this is very very important, believe me. Is the object of the verb or preposition. Okay, is a doctor. That is whose is used to indicate possession and is used to refer to both people and things. The girl whose book was lost found it. So whose book? So book belongs to this girl. So we are using whose. Okay. Which is used to refer to things or animals, and it introduces relative clauses. So which is basically used for non-living things as well as living beings, but in case of living beings we use it about for animals, or when we make choice in case of humans. Okay, choice in case of humans. The book which is on the table is mine. So we are talking about a book which is a non-living thing. Therefore, we have used which over here. However, which can also be used in case of living beings. How? That we will discuss later on. That can be used to refer to both people and things, and it's used in restrictive relative clauses. Essential information to the sentence's meaning. The car that is parked outside is red. Okay. How do we use the word that we will discuss later on. Now we have relative pronouns, so we have non-restrictive versus restrictive clauses. Now there are two types of clauses. One is non-restrictive, another is restrictive. Now what is the difference between the two? Let us see this. Non-restrictive clauses provide extra information that can be omitted without changing the meaning of the main sentence. use commas to set off non-restrictive clauses. Example, my sister who lives in London is visiting us. So this is non-restrictive clause. Why, sir? Because changing the meaning of the main sentence, use commas. Okay, when we use commas to set up the non-restrictive clauses, it means non-restrictive clauses provide extra information that can be omitted without changing the meaning of the main sentence. Okay. Restrictive clauses provide essential information that is necessary to understand the main sentence. They are not set off by commas. The book that is on the table is mine. Now, if you see the difference between the two, my sister who lives in London is visiting us. Now, this who lives in London, if this sentence, if this phrase or this additional information, if this is not important, or this is just providing the additional information without which, even without which the sentence was correct and complete, then it is known as non-restrictive clause, and it is set off. It means separated by the commas. But if we writing the sentence in a flow and we are not making the we are not using the commas to you can say set of the words, and the entire information is related to the subject and which is important, which cannot be omitted. If the additional information cannot be omitted, then it is known as restrictive clause. The book that is on the table, it means we are talking only about that book which is on the table, is mine. Okay, so this is restrictive clause. Now, relative pronouns, use of that and which, that is used in restrictive clauses, while which is used in non-restrictive clauses. So the use of which in that, it depends on the type of clauses, that is either restrictive or non-restrictive. The house that is painted blue, that is painted blue is beautiful. This is restrictive, and the house which is painted blue is beautiful. So you can see both the sentences. First one, we are talking about the house that is painted blue. It means we are only talking about that house which is painted blue. But in the next sentence, we have focused the house, not the blue paint. Although this blue paint is giving some additional information about the house, and the most important thing about restrictive and non-restrictive clause is just the commas. They make the sentence restrictive or non-restrictive, according to which we can either use that or which. Now, relative pronoun, they should agree with antecedents. Ensure that the relative pronoun agrees with the antecedent in number and gender. Okay. Now, this is all about the types of pronouns that we have discussed. Although additional information about relative pronouns or to elaborate relative pronouns, we'll see that in the next session. And if you want to learn additional information about relative pronoun, and if you want to elaborate or learn relative pronoun in more detailed manner or in detail, you should connect with me in the next session as well. Till then, thanks to you.